Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us. Build that castle in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. What's up, guys? It is Wednesday, February 21st. Wow. 2024. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 831,437. TikTok next block. We're moving along, guys. So before I lose all my gold subscribers, you guys hit the subscribe button. Let me first say this. I am not a financial advisor, even though I give financial advice. This is not financial advice. Do what you want to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just basing this conversation on my personal experience. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. As you can read from the title, gold and Bitcoin. You know, should you sell your gold for Bitcoin? There's a few, I have some new subscribers here. And I hope you guys that are new went back to my old videos and watched some of the things that I used to do. Because I'll never take a video down. I used to be a hardcore silver stacker, and I used to be a gold stacker before that, and I did both of them at the same time, but then I started floating towards silver. Long story short, I got an email from one of you guys. I'm not going to say your name, bro. He asked me this question yesterday, and we went back and forth for a while. He's a gold bug, and he's been watching my videos, among other videos. I don't know if it's because of me, but he told me that what I'm saying makes sense, and this, that, and the third, but he doesn't have a lot of cash. And what he's doing is, what he's done in the past is he put a lot of his savings, most of his savings, into gold. He's a gold bug. He doesn't have silver. He's a gold bug. Now, let me say this real quick. I am talking about gold. This also, I'm talking about silver too, okay? Because gold and silver are pretty much synonymous. They go together and stuff like that. But this particular individual has gold. And he asked me, should he sell some of his gold for Bitcoin? And I said, wow, this, as I'm going back and forth with him, I said, this would probably be a good subject to talk to some of my gold stackers on my channel. Because let me tell you this, for those of you that are new, so my mission for for these two individual people I'm talking about, my gold stackers and silver stackers on YouTube, to try to convince them to take a look at Bitcoin and study it. And then when I'm out and about, when I'm talking to quote unquote normies, to talk to them about Bitcoin, because they don't know how the monetary system works. Gold bugs do. You guys are like freaking economists, man. and that's my mission, to spread the Bitcoin gospel. Also, to talk about America and stuff like that too. But for this video and other things, I'm talking about Bitcoin right now, because I believe it's a good way to do things. So this particular individual asked me. He said, "Hey, should I sell my sell my gold?" And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So again, I was, my experience. I bought gold and everything else. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk to you about my experience briefly, and then I'm going to give you some facts, and then I'm going to give you my opinions based on those facts, and then we're going to talk, objectively based on those things that I talked about and the things that I went through. So I got into gold and silver in the summer of 2020. And I did that because of the scamdemic, and my friend put me onto it. And I was a money guy, traditional finance, but I also like cash, and I kept my cash out of the bank and things like that. So I was open-minded to the monetary system not being good and stuff like that. And I knew about inflation, but not to the extent that the gold and silver bugs taught me from 2020 up until now. But I started consolidating my gold into platinum and silver, because I felt like platinum and silver, particular silver like Constitutional and Inglehards and stuff like that, was more rare and stuff like that. And gold coins were made all the time. And I started going into silver and platinum. And then when I got into Bitcoin, I started selling my gold, and I just had no more gold. And then eventually I sold off my silver and platinum and got into Bitcoin. And you guys can go check out my old videos. You know, you can see my progression throughout the years. I started my YouTube channels in September of 2020. I don't take any videos down, man. I'm very proud to be or have been a precious metal stacker, because if it wasn't for that and my friend put me onto it, I would have never known about Bitcoin probably. So it was my crash course into the economics that I didn't know about, that traditional finance didn't teach me. So right now you got Bitcoin as a digital money and gold as a physical money, right? Those are the two differences. Now, what is money? We have to kind of do a little definition of that. My definition basically is, we know it's a transfer of energy to get goods and services and stuff like that, but I'm not talking about that. Its two main functions is this: it should be a store of value, and it should also be a medium of exchange. Let's keep it nice and simple. And gold for a long time was that, right? And then for smaller stuff, it was silver. We went to a fiat standard as technology got better. We started making paper debt dollars. I like to call them fiat currency, backing them with gold. And then you guys know what happened in 1971. We got off the gold standard, and then the paper dollars pretty much became the money, even though it was a medium of exchange. It's doing half the job, but it wasn't a store of value, obviously, because there was nothing backing it but confidence, the label of world reserve currency, and the military. It wasn't backed by gold anymore. And gold lost its monetary status because people around the world are not using it as for money as much. I'm not saying it's not used as money. It is, of course, but most people use fiat currency. Morning, how you doing? Good. Most people use fiat currencies and digital money and stuff like that. And once gold wasn't used as a medium of exchange anymore, for the most part around the world, as technology grew and fiat took over, it mainly became a store of value. And now you got the gold ETFs that came out in the early 2000s, and then the paper market got introduced, and we all know what's going on with that. And for those of you that don't know, it's a lot of manipulation, because a lot of the quote unquote gold is on paper. And as you guys know, there are much more paper gold and silver. Again, I'm talking about both, but I'll just say gold. Much more paper than there are physical metals. And it's manipulated, and it's just, gold should be a lot more expensive in terms of US dollars than it is now. It just should be. And as a store of value, over the last decade or so, gold hasn't really done a good job. And I'm speaking objectively here, guys. And as I had to make my decision on gold and silver and stuff like that, I had to take a look at that. And, you know, all the money printing and all the, you know, stuff happening with the scamdemic and all that stuff, I'm just like, wow. You know, it did pump up. That's when I started getting into it. It had a little pump in the summer 2020 because it crashed in March. It pretty much stayed steady, and it's not really doing much. You know, silver will range between 21, 22 up to 28 or 29, but it hasn't been 28, 29 in a little bit. And with all these dollars out here chasing less goods, you would think gold and silver should be up, but gold has been in between 1900 and sometimes 1700. I think it went down to 16 something too, you know, up to, I guess it hit 2100 for a little bit, all-time high, but adjusted for inflation, it wasn't the all-time high. But it's been floating around the $18, $19, $2,000 mark. And in my personal opinion, and based on facts, it just doesn't do a good job of being a store of value in the short term. And I think there's a reason for that. I just truly believe that our fiat overlords don't want people to understand and know about gold, and they keep it suppressed, and they pile up. They've been buying it so they can buy it cheap and everything else. And there's nothing wrong with gold. I love gold and I love silver. But for the common man, gold is pretty expensive, especially if you want to get a 1 ounce gold. Those are, you know, $2,000, $2,100 a piece. And a lot of people just don't have that kind of money. So that's why a lot of people take the poor man's gold and they take silver and stuff like that. But even when you buy fractional gold, it's still expensive, because if you're buying 10th ounces or quarter ounces or, you know, half ounces or something like that, and then you add up the prices, the dollars that you paid with the premiums, I mean, it's expensive over the long term. Again, you can buy it, but it costs you more because you're paying more with the premiums. Those are just facts, guys. So let's talk about the market caps, right? So you got gold between 12 and 14 trillion, depends on who you ask, maybe 13.7 trillion, something like that. Gold has the highest market cap, the number one market cap in the world. As you can see, they're number one. But Bitcoin has just recently broken the top 10, and they're at like 1.2 trillion. I think we're down a little bit today, but that's just going to be brief. And I'm doing this on a Bitcoin down day too, by the way. That is a percentage of the market cap from a Bitcoin perspective of how much gold is, right? So that's, it's 7 something percent or 6 something percent or something like that. Bitcoin is 6 or 7% of gold's market cap, and it just keeps going up. Even though gold had a big head start of, thousands of years, Bitcoin's a baby. It's only 15 years old. Also, this is how much gold it takes to buy one full Bitcoin. Going back to what I said about gold being expensive, you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy Satoshis. If you don't know anything about Satoshis, check out my Satoshi Saturday series. I have 2 videos that I just started, and I'm doing it every Saturday, talking about the divisible aspect of Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole one. And it doesn't cost you extra premiums like it does with gold when you buy smaller amounts. So since the ETFs were officially launched for Bitcoin in January, this is what's been happening in 25, 26, 27 trading days. They don't trade on the weekends or holidays or nothing like that. Just Monday through Friday. A lot of inflows coming in. Obviously, Grayscale Bitcoin, GBTC, has been selling off too, and that'll stop soon. But look at the inflows of money coming into these ETFs. And now look what's happening with gold simultaneously. Now, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not. I don't know if it's because of that. But it is what it is. Those are facts. There's money leaving the gold ETFs and at the same time going into the Bitcoin ETFs. And again, like I said, the top 10 by market cap companies and commodities, Bitcoin in 15 years is at number 10. And it's closing in on Facebook and past the great Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, for a company that doesn't have a CEO like gold. So when I look at these things, I have to ask myself, okay, I got that part. And this is my thought process when I sold my precious metal, because I didn't directly sell my gold directly for Bitcoin. A little bit I did, some of it. But for the most part, indirectly, I did sell, because I ended up selling all my silver and platinum that I traded for gold. Not all of it, not all my silver and gold I traded for gold, but a big portion of it that ended up going into Bitcoin anyways. And I got some cash too. I kept some cash. But it seems like to me, all roads lead to Bitcoin. Like the great Wayne Gretzky says, you got to skate to where the puck is going. And I had to ask myself, in 10 years, what's going to happen with gold and silver? Silver is really not a monetary money anymore.
What you talking about, Willis?
Not in our terms, we think it is. But in real terms, as far as what the government and what the people say, silver is much more of an industrial metal. And with the stock to flow ratio, meaning how much stock is in, let's think about the cabinets or in the pantry, how much stock you got in there versus how much is coming in. Silver for the most part is getting eaten up. That's why I invested in it. I think it's a good investment, a commodity investment. But as far as the money, you can't depend on the money that needs to be used in industry. And silver, and gold are different, because gold is much more rare and harder to come out of the ground. I think it comes out of the ground 16 to 1 or something like that. And gold, because of its stock to flow ratio, it has the highest stock to flow ratio. I think it's between like 56 and 60. All that gold that's in the world that's ever been mined thousands of years ago is still around. It's just still around, right? Silver, Although it's very, very hard to destroy, it can be destroyed. It's very hard to do it, but it can be destroyed little by little. And again, it's very difficult to do that. Gold cannot be destroyed. And so all the gold that's here is here. Plus we lose a lot of silver, you know, in the junkyards, man, because people throw away computers and stuff like that. But with gold, you know, if there's a little bit in it and you find some of it, because it's $2,000 an ounce, a couple of grams of gold, hey, that could be worth something. A couple of grams of silver, nobody's even really caring about it. And also, you know, gold is really not used for industry as much. It is, but compared to like silver and platinum, it's not even close. Silver's way more of an industrial metal than gold. Gold is used for jewelry and monetary purposes. Only one half of the monetary purposes though, and that's a store of value. And even people that are in India, and no one loves gold more than India, they barely use it for medium of exchange. They use it as a store of value and kind of like a status figure, because gold for many thousands of years, again, was the standard. It was just the best physical money in the world, and it still is. No doubt it is. But the problem is, now in 2024 and beyond, we are not in a physical world anymore. We don't use VHS tapes to watch movies anymore. Everything is digital. I don't have any more Polaroid pictures. They're all on my phone. I don't write letters anymore. I email. You know, if I was in school right now, I used to pass notes to girls at school. No kids do that anymore. They use their phone. Everything is digital. And for analog physical money, gold was the best, and nothing will ever be better, and it did its job. The problem is with the advancement of technology, gold is kind of getting left behind. Again, you can use it as a store of value and a status symbol and some jewelry and stuff like that, but I don't think it's the best store of value anymore. And now you got Bitcoin, this new thing that a lot of people don't understand and never took the time to study, and it's just this thing where it's a cryptocurrency, and they see it on these mainstream medias, and everybody's saying, oh, it may be digital gold, or is it a stock? Is it a company? You know, what is it? People don't know really what it is. And I've asked many people, hey, what's Bitcoin? They don't even know what it is. They say, oh, isn't it like a stock, or isn't it some? Bitcoin is money. It's the money for the internet. It's internet money. That's what it is. And going back to the basic definition of money, what is money? It's a store of value and a medium of exchange. Now, let me say this. Is Bitcoin volatile? Absolutely. I used to be on a ship. It was called the USS Grasp. It was a very small ship. It was 100 feet long. And when we used to go out to sea, because it was very small, everybody would get seasick because it was so small. It would just move up and down and just move all over the place, because the ocean would just completely turn it. Now, if you guys ever been on a really, really big ship, I have, like an aircraft carrier or something like that, you can't even feel the movement because it's so big. It's the same thing in the market. The reason why gold doesn't just move up and move down like Bitcoin or something smaller is because it's a big boy. There's a lot of money into it, into the paper and the physical gold. It's just trillions of dollars into it. They say there's about 900 trillion out there. I think it's more than that. Estimated 13, 14, 12, whatever trillion gold is. That's a big chunk of 900 in the big picture versus everything else. So that's why gold is more steady and doesn't move. Bitcoin moves up and down because it's only, 600 billion, 700 billion, now just over a trillion. It's a small boy in a big ocean. The reason why it is money and internet money, digital money, again, the two basic definitions we have, a store of value and a medium of exchange, there has never been an asset that has been a better store of value in history than Bitcoin. I mean, of course, they started from zero, but everything starts from zero. They have no marketing, no CEO, nothing. It's just a bunch of people, cyberpunks and libertarians, nerds, geeks, got together and say, wow, this thing is good. We can defeat the world with this thing. We don't have to depend on these tyrannical governments to tell us what to do anymore. This is good. As a store of value, it's just incredible how it's keeping, again, volatile because of the smallness of it. But overall, it's going up to the right on the chart. Now, medium of exchange, if I had to guess, Bitcoin, I'd say between 95 to 99% of Bitcoin that's on the market is used for a store of value. Maybe 5 to 2 to 3, 1, whatever percent is used for a medium of exchange. You know, you got El Salvador using it as a medium of exchange, not fully a medium of exchange, but they do use it. And there's some people around the world that do use it as a circular economy and money off the books. Again, I'll tell you my little secrets on how I get people to use Bitcoin and use it to, you know, as a medium of exchange. But you got to ask yourself this: in 10 or 15 years, because that's how long you plan on keeping your gold, at least, I'm guessing. I'm 49. Most of you guys are younger than me. I plan on doing that at least that or longer. What do you think is going to happen to that percentage of gold that is used as a medium of exchange and a store of value, mind you, versus Bitcoin being used as a medium of exchange in a digital world? Because we're in a digital world. Do you think gold is going to be used more and they're going to be passing around gold coins more in 10 or 15 years? I mean, you have to take a couple of steps back in the technology phase of money? Or is Bitcoin going to be used more? You tell me. Again, I ain't the smartest guy in the world, but I like to, again, skate to where the puck is going. If you have money stored away for your savings and your long-term savings for your family, you got to ask yourself, what's the better way? I don't know for a fact if central bank digital currencies are coming out in America, United States. I don't know. But I know if they could, they would. That's for sure. I'm giving it a 70% chance that it will. It also depends on who's in office. And again, guys, politics are important. But with this regime, with the control and everything they're trying to do to us, and there's other countries that are trying these things, there's a good chance that it will happen. And again, that does depend on who's in charge politically, because there's some people on one side of the aisle that really like it, want CBDCs, and other people, patriots, that don't want it. They don't want that control. But if that does come out, the central bank digital currencies, and it becomes part of the norm, and you have to use a medium of exchange to buy and sell things, you're going to have to use that. And if you keep gold, in my opinion, humble opinion, I don't think we're going to be able or go back to passing gold coins back and forth. And these are for the people like us who refuse to use the central bank digital currencies.
This is the difference between Bitcoin and a central bank digital currency. Bitcoin is completely decentralized. There's no one founder or CEO which can program the money. With a central bank digital currency, it's basically a digital version of what we have now. There's nothing different to it. It's going to be entirely centralized in the control of the government and the central bank. So if for whatever reason you hold the incorrect opinion, they can just program the money and use it against you. So if you like the wrong thing on social media, your central bank digital currency will no longer work. With Bitcoin, nobody can touch it. It's entirely in your possession. You'll have a non-custodial wallet, and that is where you'll hold your Bitcoin, and nobody has access to that.
Bitcoin is of the people, for the people, and by the people. It is ran by us, guys. Plebs. People that love freedom. Bitcoin is freedom, and freedom is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is American as American can get. That's why I love it. When you read the Bitcoin white paper, it literally reminds me of the Declaration of Independence. Satoshi Nakamoto, in that paper, in that great white paper, he is declaring independence from this corrupt monetary system. Gold has done its job for thousands of years, and I think it's a great thing compared to fiat currency. But when we needed gold the most, it has failed us, guys. And I'm sorry to say that. And I'm not dissing you guys that have gold. I'm really not. It's nothing personal. I had it too, and I love gold. I love gold. Somebody gave me a gold coin, I'd be so happy. I love it. But when we needed it the most in our lifetime, because we haven't had inflation like this since the 80s, early 80s, and we definitely haven't had money printing like this ever. We've never printed money like this. And gold, you know, the gold bugs and the people that sell gold to us, I believe they sold us a false bill of goods, because a lot of times when you're in the gold spheres circle, they're always talking about doom and gloom, and gold is the only answer, and the dollar is going to die. And, you know, a lot of times they focus a lot on the problems. But when I came over to the Bitcoin side, it ain't just about Bitcoin being a better money. I truly believe in focusing on solutions. And Bitcoin is a solution. And the people that are working on Bitcoin and saving in Bitcoin, they are working every single day for our freedoms. They talk about that all the time. They don't talk about doom and gloom. They don't focus on the problems. They really key in on the solutions. And I'm all about that, man. I'm all about solutions. So full disclosure, guys, I am biased when someone asks me this question. Should you sell your gold for Bitcoin? Because obviously I did, directly and indirectly. But I will say this, you need to study Bitcoin before you make a decision. Don't do anything without making an informed decision. Don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody else. One of the many reasons I love Bitcoin, because they have a saying called, don't trust, verify. Where that comes from, when you have a miner, a Bitcoin miner that mines Bitcoin, each of us real Bitcoiners that have a node, N-O-D-E, a node, a Bitcoin node, we verify the transactions. We don't trust anybody else to do it. And the whole Bitcoin network and transactions are on everybody's Bitcoin node. If you have a full node, all the transactions from the time, the Genesis block, the 0 to 1 block, all the way till now, like I said, 831,400 something block, have all been verified by the nodes, by the people. Again, it's of the people, for the people, by the people. Do you know how much gold was mined today? No, you don't. And again, the only way you're gonna know this stuff is if you study Bitcoin. That's why I say don't trust, verify. Don't ever trust what I say. I told you guys, I'm just like the host of the restaurant that sits you down and say, here, let me introduce you to I know a little bit about the menu and I'm learning. I haven't even been through a full cycle. I haven't been through 210,000 blocks yet. A couple of days I'll be in my 3-year anniversary, but I'm brand new to this, guys. I'm brand new. But one thing I do know is we're in a digital world, and Bitcoin is the best digital money ever created. It's the best money ever created. And if you were gonna ask me if you should sell your gold for Bitcoin, again, sit down and study it. I would buy a little bit of Bitcoin based on the knowledge that you have. I wouldn't sell my gold until you're comfortable enough to understand what Bitcoin is. But I'm gonna warn you, once you go down that Bitcoin rabbit hole, there ain't no escaping.
A lot of people have accused Bitcoin of being a pump and dump scheme, but when you really get into the rabbit hole, right, and you start to understand the nature of money, the history of money, the desired properties of money, I think you come to this realization that Bitcoin simply cannot be a pump and dump scheme because there's no better asset to dump it into.
Correct.
It's a pump scheme. It just goes up.
Precisely.
Because again, there's a lot of things in life, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And gold has taught you a lot of things about the economy and things like that. And it's great. And it's gold is great, man. I'll be forever thankful for what gold and silver did for me. But when you come to learn about what Bitcoin is and what it can do for you and your family and your future, you're going to look at the whole financial system in a completely different way. I'm telling you right now, it'll change your life for the positive. So in summary, study Bitcoin, work your ass off, put in the work, man. Download a wallet to your phone, a cold wallet. Get you a little bit, play around with it, move it, learn about the Lightning Network and everything else. But I will say this. If somebody asks me, how do I save? And what's the best way to save? So in closing, guys, do the best you can to learn as much as you can and work your ass off. Keep working your ass off for you and your family. And you do work your ass off. I know you guys do. But it ain't just about working at a job and stuff like that. It's about bettering yourself and studying and learning things. And as you go on your Bitcoin journey, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to find anything better. And as you go down this rabbit hole and you learn more and more about Bitcoin, I think quickly you'll learn what I've learned when I compared gold and silver to Bitcoin and fiat currency when it comes to saving. And when you work hard for your money, like you guys do, and I know you do, you want to have the best asset to do that. And hands down, for me, the best way to save, and for me, the only way to save, and that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.